Thank you, Chair Murphy. Mr. Secretary, one of the criticisms we've heard from you repeatedly when it comes to Title 42 expulsions is that expulsion doesn't result in the delivery of a real consequence in the way that deportations or removals do. And removal is, of course, the ultimate consequence for violating our immigration laws. That being the case, do you agree with me that the approximately 1.3 million illegal aliens in the United States who have received due process and have been given their final orders of removal by an immigration judge should be expeditiously removed from the United States?
Ranking Member Britt, I'm not familiar with the numeric figure that you cite, but an individual who's been provided due process, who has a final order of removal, should be removed from the United States. When we adjudicate the fact that they do not have a lawful basis to remain in the United States, they should be removed.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I'm so glad we agree on that. Over a 3-year period, the Biden administration has actually removed fewer people in total. So the first 3 years, so not the last 11 months, the first 3 years, removed fewer people in total than both Presidents Obama and Trump removed in each individual year of their administration. So I am hopeful that we can have the appropriate resources there, and we're able to remove the 1.3 million people who have been given due process. And on that note, if you had more ICE officers, more funding for officers there, would that be a helpful tool in being able to remove these individuals that have been given their due process?
2 points, if I may, Ranking Member
Yes.
Britt. In response to your discrete question, the answer is yes. More personnel would assist us, not just the officers and agents themselves, but of course the support personnel upon which they rely. But with respect to the data that you cite, I should note that we have removed on a monthly basis more aggravated felons resident in the United States unlawfully than in the prior administration on a monthly basis.
Okay. And obviously we're not talking about felons. We're talking about those people who have been given due process and are set to remove. We need to go ahead and remove them because that serves as a deterrent in talking about what we were discussing before. So as you probably are aware, with respect to due process, the Syracuse University found in 2021 approximately 200,000 immigration court cases were dismissed because DHS failed to file a notice to appear with the court. Are you aware that that number is 12 times higher than the number of cases dismissed for the same reason during all the years before FY24 up till FY 2020 combined?
Ranking Member Britt, my understanding is that that number may or may not be accurate, so we are looking into that, number one. Number two, it is not necessarily that the notice to appear was not filed, but the notice to appear might have had a deficiency. That has been an issue for years in the Department of Homeland Security, and in fact, we have used technology to improve the accuracy and correctness of notices to appear.
Good.
And I think we have data with respect to the success of those notices to appear that is more current.
So does DHS intend to reissue the notice to appear in those cases?
Yes, most certainly.
Okay,
it is our
great.
responsibility. Excellent.
All right, there are more than 7 million migrants on that non-detained docket when we were talking about, so double the number at the start of this administration. When you look at that and you look at the record-shattering numbers of people who have entered this country illegally and released into our interior, do you believe that that represents an increased risk to public safety in this country?
I think it is a powerful reflection of an absolutely broken immigration system. And let me share with you data to evidence the fact that this has been years long in the making. In 2010, the average...
I only have a minute and 50 seconds left, so I'm going to have to continue moving on. But I do want to say that ICE has detained more than 32,000 migrants here with criminal convictions and another 11,000 with pending criminal charges. Some of these criminal records, those with criminal records have actually been released by ICE into the United States. And a couple of examples that I want to make sure we get out there. There have been 4,700 with convictions for assault, 450 of whom have been released. There have been 5,200 with convictions for drug crimes, 261 of which have been released. There have been 1,100 with convictions for weapons crimes, 92 of which have been released. There have been 1,200 with convictions for sexual assault, 46 of whom have been released. And there have been 490 with convictions for homicide, 50 of whom have been released. So I am hopeful that we can agree that when we have this type of chaos at our border, that it does increase the risk for our public safety here in the country. And so with my last 42 seconds, I do want to ask you a quick question. When it looks at the CHNV program and what we're seeing, we've got some data that says that DHS approved approximately 97.6% of applications that were received under the CHNV program. And so that approval rate to me is indicative of applicants not receiving that individualized case-by-case consideration that's required by the law. And your response to that, do you feel like there is just a blanket kind of a blanket gift of the CHNV program into the interior, or do you feel like those have been mindfully looked at individually?
Ranking Member Britt, those cases are reviewed on an individualized basis. In response to your earlier point, I look forward to providing you with the data which reflects an increased focus on individuals in the interior of the United States who do not have a lawful basis to stay and who have suffered a criminal conviction, because our success rate is far greater than in the prior administration.